Welcome to the Book Talk Babes podcast, where we will be discussing different book-related topics and occasionally specific books. This episode may contain spoilers, so please check the episode description for a list of books that were spoiled. My name is Ashley, and today I am joined by my two lovely friends, Elaine.
Hello.
And Liana.
Hello.
This episode may contain cussing. Alrighty, y'all.
You made it through the intro.
I've been having a very rough week. So, being sick, 3 weeks ago now? 2 weeks? I don't know. Being sick earlier in February, and then, the high cedar coming in. Mm-hmm. And then I think we're getting some of the, smoke from the fires up in, North Texas.
Oh, yeah. And
I literally, I cannot, breathe.
Well, and
I'm literally just coughing all day.
And the weather dropped to 30 degrees. So
yeah.
It's supposed to be, what's it say? Rainy and in the mid 40s.
Yeah.
Personally, I love this weather, but I know other people
yes.
So many people were complaining about how cold it was. And I walked outside just oh, yes. Someone turned on the AC.
Yes. Me too.
My problem isn't necessarily the cold. It's the wind. I hate when it's windy. I especially hate when it's windy during cedar season as well. Because, I end up with this voice every start of the year. So hopefully it'll go away. Hopefully the rain
will wash it away.
If I'm lucky.
Let the rain fall down.
Nice.
I don't know the rest of it, but that's what it made me think.
The song's a bop.
Sounds like Elaine might know all of it.
No, I don't know. I just know that the part that Leona sang.
That's funny. That's funny. I was just thinking about that this morning, about how easily it is that I can remember all the lyrics to some songs.
What I really want to do at some point when we're all together again is watch an old Disney movie, a Disney Channel movie, and then we take a drink every time they do something cringy.
Oh, shit.
Oh, gosh.
I said a drink, not a shot, because we die. But
yeah, I was you said drink, and I heard shot in my head, and I was like, oh God, my liver.
But
will never recover.
Because all over TikTok, they have the people who mimic Demi Lovato in Camp Rock when she's like, what?
Oh.
Or she's like, wow, she's really good. Or even when she smiles, she just has the big old smile that's the super teasy smile. Or when they do the trademark Disney knees when they're singing.
Oh, I am very happy to say that I was a Cartoon Network kid, and I did not watch a lot of the Disney Channel shows or movies that weren't animated. My husband, on the other hand, he watched all of those. But I've never read or watched. I've never watched Camp Rock. I've never watched High School Musical. I've never watched. I can't even think of any of the other big ones. I've seen a few. Was Lizzie McGuire on Disney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I've seen a few episodes of that.
I loved Lizzie McGuire.
Oh,
but
then there was the
Even Stevens.
The what was her name?
Kim Possible.
Yes, Kim
Okay,
Possible.
I watched Kim Possible because that was an animated thing. I loved
so
animated.
I
shows.
love Kim
She had no
Possible.
business being that hot. I mean, none of them did. None of them had any business being that hot. But I really liked that one movie. I think it was Motocross.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Where she goes as a guy,
Yeah,
right?
she cuts her hair and competes as a guy in motocross.
Yeah.
That was actually really good.
The one part I remember is like she has green nail polish on, right? And she's like, "Oh, it's for luck." And then she starts winning, and then next thing you know, guys are like painting their nails green as well for luck.
Yes.
That's
Oh.
funny.
But there is one, I think, called Luck of the Irish, where like a guy finds out he's a leprechaun.
Oh yes, I remember that one.
I feel like
too.
I've heard of that.
And he starts
Yeah.
like developing like pointy ears and red hair and stuff.
Yes,
Oh man.
Uh,
I remember that one.
well, happy Women's History Month.
Yep.
Yes,
Happy
It is
month
March.
to us and all the other women out there.
babes in the world.
All the
all the other
other
babes.
femmes. And you know what? And I'm going to count drag queens in this because they know the struggle.
Yes, all the queens.
All the queens.
Yes, they also can do makeup way better than I ever will be able to.
I just really admire like all the wigs. Like I would love to wear wigs like Trixie Mattel. I just love them.
That'd be fun.
The whole
Yeah.
But yes, happy Women's History Month to all women around the world doing their thing or doing
Yes.
and doing their best.
Yeah, right.
Or maybe not even their best. They've made it through another day and that is their best. We know the struggle.
So yeah, with that, I wrote down a few like women in book facts, and then I'm sure we can add more as the month goes. Because I was Googling the wrong things and was not coming up with very good results. But like, let's see. So women used to author less than 10% of new books published in the US each year, but now there's more than 50% of the published books in the US are written by women. Also, the average female author sells more books than the average male author, according to NPR article that I read.
All I can think about is when Gaston tells Belle, like, it's not right for a woman to read, because then she starts getting ideas and thinking. And she's like, you're primeval. And he's like, why, thank you. And she just gives him a look.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Continue.
No, that was good. Y'all feel free to go on as many tangents as you want about anything, since I didn't prep the best for the facts until after we started talking before this. Multiple studies have shown that women read more books than men. So I feel like that kind of stems
Can
though
totally
from
see
like
that.
women basically having to stay home with children more, and that was all they could do for fun.
But, like,
but
at one point, weren't women only allowed to like read the Bible and like nothing else?
probably
Because we couldn't have thoughts in our head.
no, yeah. Honestly, like if I had to live in older times or whatever, I would gladly throw some sort of, minor fit so I could get diagnosed as like a hysterical female. So they have to send me to a little cottage on the seaside out in the country of the UK.
That only happens if you're rich. If you're poor, they just put you in an asylum.
Well, I'll escape.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think
I'm unsuitable for polite society. Send me somewhere.
I want to say olden days, probably. I think it was like during the medieval or pre-medieval times. The only way that women could learn to read and write is if they joined a nunnery.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then
That's crazy.
being in a nunnery came with its own problems.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So that was the only way women could learn to read and write. Also, I'm not surprised either that women read more because, I mean, we like single-handedly control the romance industry.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
Yeah. And I mean, as you see, like with all, like, I'm thinking back to like Harry Potter, the Hunger Games, Divergent series, and even now with ACOTAR and that whole universe, like it's majority women who are reading those books. And I guess with Harry Potter, majority girls who are reading those books. Yeah, we're keeping the publishing industry afloat.
My next fact was about 78% of staff at all levels in the publishing industry are women, and 59% are at the executive level
Hell yeah.
in the publishing industry, right? I can't remember. I feel like that was in another, it might be in the same NPR article as the first one. I feel like I have to give my sources. Listen, y'all, I just Googled, okay? This is not
You guys have
this is
Google.
not a this is not a college level dissertation where I need to give you a full list of my sources, all right? If any of this is incorrect, it's not my fault.
We've sourced TikTok on this before, so we know it's not hard.
Right. Right.
This isn't some hard.
I mean, I guess I could have just made up shit. And then I wrote while we were prepping for this, the first female Pulitzer Prize winner was Edith Wharton for her book The Age of Innocence in 1921. Which, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that was 1921. I would have thought the first woman would have won something much later.
I know.
But
I know. Considering all the sexism and misogyny.
Well, yeah. I mean, I forget. I didn't write down what year it was, but like prior to a certain year, like if a woman wrote anything, it had to be published under like her husband's name or like a male family member or something. So like, what kind of credit did she really get?
Isn't that what one of the Wolf women did, or Mary Shelley? One of those. I think I'm misremembering. All of our thinking powers and our boobs. So,
right.
We had those wandering wombs that we had to look after.
And then the first woman to win a Nobel Prize for Literature was, I'm going to probably say the last name wrong, Selma Lagerlöf. She's Swedish, and she won in 1909.
Wow.
Yeah, I was also kind of surprised.
Go Sweden.
Right? But yeah, that's all I prepped for the moment.
Do you think Jane Austen was the Sarah J. Maas of her time? Well, I guess maybe not, because her cinematic universes don't converge. But
well, no, but I mean, I feel like that's not necessary.
True.
I feel I mean, honestly, what would be kind of like, I feel like what's the word I'm looking for? The thing that would need to be looked at is like, how far into the future will people still be reading like SJM books? Because like people to this day still read Jane Austen and they're like obsessed, you know? So
and Mr. Darcy obsession is real. But the sad thing was, like, all the romances she wrote, and she never married.
I mean, but was that her choice, or were men intimidated by her?
I think the choice was made for her.
Okay.
I like read somewhere that Jane Austen was engaged for like one night and then decided that she didn't want that. So then she just like...
That sounds like my experience playing softball.
I played soccer for one day.
I played softball for one practice. My mom picked me up. She's like, "How was it?" And I was like, "No, gonna stick to volleyball."
I think that's how I was for tennis. I did tennis for like one day, and I was like, no.
No. I feel like we should have made this episode though, like Jane Austen, like report, a biography.
That could be a whole episode in itself, but there's so much I could say.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. We should do that. before March is over.
I was gonna say, side note, that's hilarious. You were in volleyball because you're like 5 feet tall.
I am 5'1", but I mean, I was, okay. I'm not even kidding. Like, there's not many things I regret in my life, and I don't regret not being able to play volleyball in high school necessarily, but like, I mean, I was fucking good in middle school. Okay, my parents listen to this. I want y'all to know that I love y'all and I understand that we didn't have the money, and I don't hold that against you at all. But I played for my middle school or whatever. And so the way the middle school sports worked in Florida, you played for the school, but it was kind of like outside of the school. So like all of our shirts had like, business sponsors and things like that instead of you just being like playing for the school.
Yeah.
And they had, I forget, we had 2 or 3 teams. I can't remember now. And because I had never played before, I got put on, I guess, what would essentially have been like the B team.
Yeah.
And the other people I played with, like, yeah, they weren't that good. So my coach literally kept me in the entire game, every fucking game, because I was the only person that would actually like fucking play. And so my parents took me to try out for basically like select volleyball or whatever. And I was so nervous. I was like, I'm not good enough to be here, whatever. Well, they picked me. But like during the like tryout process, your parents are sitting in a meeting learning how much everything costs.
Oh no.
So it ends, you find out that if you get picked or not, and I got picked. So in the car ride, I was so fucking excited. And then my parents were like, we can't afford like to let you do this. They felt so bad. And then I was kind of crushed at the time. But yeah, I had big dreams. I was going to play for UT, and then I was going to go to the Olympics. And then when I moved back here, and I moved back here in 8th grade, and then going into so I didn't play in 8th grade here, and then going into 9th grade, I had picked that I wanted to play, but they, for fucking whatever reason, told me I had to pick between volleyball or band. And I was also like, I had missed like the deadline for like physicals and stuff. So volleyball wasn't really a feasible option unless they were going to let me like, break some of the rules. So I chose band, and here we are. Didn't go to the Olympics.
Yeah, but like, look at all the friends you made along the way.
I was like, but I wouldn't have met y'all.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, there were people that played volleyball and band. I just wouldn't have been able to be in marching band. So
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of got fucked because I could have done both.
But then you ended up doing dance.
Well, that was a dare. But yes.
I never knew that.
You didn't know that? Oh, okay. So the whole reason I tried out for the dance team in high school was because Saya he was a saxophone player. Do you remember him?
Oh, yeah.
He dared me to try out for Texans. And I was like, fuck, whatever. How hard could it be? And then I made the team. And then, yeah, I did dance for 2 years. So.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, I thought about joining in 9th grade, the dance team.
Yeah.
But then I found out that, I don't know, there was like some people in there I didn't want to be with.
Yeah, I don't fucking blame you there.
I also briefly considered.
It was a lot of fun.
Also, it was expensive.
It was expensive. But they did have like payment plans. So like that's what my family did. We did payment plan thing for it. So they broke up the price for you because, yeah, there was no way. And then if you did like the fundraisers, that also took like some money off for you. But yeah, no, it was completely a dare. And then, of course, ended up falling in love with it. I did make some good friends, but like, yeah, I totally do not blame you for not wanting to join because of certain people. But yeah, how did we get here?
I said you were too short for volleyball.
That's right. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I mean, essentially, I would have been the Libro or whatever. Yeah.
Libro.
It's okay.
I was gonna say you're never too short.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I'm definitely
according to this anime,
I'm definitely too short to have been like a blocker or someone that was spiking the ball. That's for fucking sure.
Well, yeah.
Little body, big dreams.
Yes. Yes.
Also, Elaine
But,
just
I mean,
said you can never be too short, and you guys are like the same height.
I'm actually taller. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you're like 1 inch taller.
Right? How tall are you, Elaine?
I round up to 5 foot.
Okay. That's fair. Technically, I am 5'1" and 3/4 of an inch.
So you can say you're 5'2".
I mean, I could, but my driver's license doesn't say that.
Oh.
My driver's license doesn't say I'm 5 either. It says my actual height.
So when y'all are reading these romance books with these guys, like the Caucanians who are like 6.5 feet tall, are you just like picturing your height versus their height?
I try not to.
Yeah.
In these books, I am also a slightly bit taller.
Yeah.
Or like the Ice Planet Barbarians who are basically like over 7 feet tall.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay, it's basically the pitch. This is what that is. It is Chewbacca and an Ewok.
Yeah.
I'm the Ewok.
But then you have like those diagrams where the head reaches just the right point on the body.
Yeah, no. That's like when people are like, "Oh, I won't talk to a man unless he's 6 feet tall," and I was like, I mean, I'd give him back problems with how short I am.
Be like, girl, you're 4'10".
Like, sorry. Like, you know what though? Like, go for whoever you want, like whatever you want, but like, I feel like you're limiting your options by being like, I'm only gonna date someone that's 6 foot or over.
Okay, but no. Short men, I say short. I don't know. To you guys, they'd be tall, but to me, like a man who's 5'8" is short, and short men have so much audacity. I need someone who's like 5'10" or taller.
Because I think Steven's like 5'9".
Okay, but that's your man. That's your man, so that's okay.
No, I know. Yeah.
But he is a Gryffindor. I mean,
yeah.
Come on. Gryffindor people have audacity.
How does that make you feel, Elaine?
And he's a Gemini. So speaking of experience,
he is a Gemini.
You know, we're a bunch of rascals.
I mean, he doesn't really believe in the whole like astrological stuff. I don't fully either, but it is fun to see some of the like things that are said or the results, or like when it's, you know, I really enjoy the what is it? Like the zodiac characters or zodiac signs for like different book characters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is usually pretty interesting. But
have you seen the what's that called, the like INFJ things?
Oh, the Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
It's interesting seeing those with like the characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always forget which one I am. I know what Enneagram I am.
Oh, yes. Isn't that
which is funny?
the number?
I was looking at my like birth chart the other day, so it's funny that we're talking about all this zodiac stuff.
I mean, I'm a Cancer Sun, Capricorn Moon, Leo rising.
I'm also a Capricorn Moon.
Oh. See, and I can never remember which one is supposed to be like your internal personality, how you're perceived by others, and like how you act. I can't remember what it is.
Your sun sign is like who you are at your core. Your moon sign is how you express your emotions. And then your rising sign is how you present to the world.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm a Scorpio
Interesting.
rising, which makes sense because people tell me I look mean until they find out otherwise.
I'm an Aquarius rising,
Okay.
but I don't really know much about Aquarius. My sun is Sagittarius and my moon is Taurus.
Okay.
Oh. My poor sister, she is just Libra and Pisces placements all over the place. She's full of feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Enneagram is the one that I look at the most.
Yeah.
And that is the numbers. I'm a 6, and I have never been more fully described than if you read the description of a 6.
Yeah. I am an 8, which is supposed to be one of the more stubborn numbers.
I was reading all the like different houses. I was like, oh wow, this is all true with the different houses and stuff, which was crazy.
Like the Hogwarts houses.
No,
Oh.
in your like birth chart,
Oh,
your
okay.
your like house 1 through 12, like,
Yeah.
and if you look at those, like, I was reading all of them and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just describing me like to the T. Like, it was crazy, because it likes. Yeah, it talked about like my laziness, and I'm like, it's true. I am super lazy.
It's only because you work so much. Who isn't lazy, honestly?
Yeah.
No, well, I take everything with a grain of salt, but it is fun to like read that stuff. However, if there is one thing that I hope is true for my zodiac this year, is that I finally find a man, because according to all the horoscopes, he's supposed to pop up sometime in May, and he's going to be like my life partner. I was like, okay. Where
Now, like every man you meet in May, though, are you going to be like, is this the guy? Is this the
Is
guy?
this the guy? Is this
Is
the
that
guy?
the guy? Is this the guy?
No.
Well, also I've been told that my soulmate is going to be a Sagittarius, and since I've been told that, which was a few months ago, I've met several Sagittarius men, and it has fallen through. So I've been thinking, oh shit, it's just not that Sagittarius man. It has to
I was
be.
like, you haven't met the right one.
Yes. Because I did a
Mhm.
tarot reading and I got the soulmate card, and it gave me the number 6, and it's like you either meet your soulmate in like 6 days, 6 weeks, months, years. I was like, please,
Damn.
6 months, not 6 years. But at the time, 6 months from then was May, and all my horoscopes are saying you're gonna find them in May, or they're gonna find you.
All right.
I'm like, May's looking like a good month for me. And then I just, light my Virgin Mary candle just in case.
I've been seeing a lot of 333s. Like one day it was just 333, 333. I look at the clock, it's 333. I'm adding up numbers, it ends up at 333. And I'm like, what is up with 333?
That's when you go buy
So I
a
looked
lottery
it up.
ticket.
I know, right? I like looked, that's what I was like looking at my birth chart the other day, because I was looking up like angel numbers as well.
Mhm.
And it just says I'm on the right path. And I'm like,
Ooh.
okay, cool. I don't know what that means though.
All right.
Whatever I'm doing, I guess I'm doing right. I don't know.
I forgot there was a caveat to me finding my soulmate. I have to get out more.
Oh, I'm out.
Yeah.
No, because like the tarot literally said, leave your house. and then you will find him. Like, damn it.
Oh God.
No, I don't want to leave my house.
No.
Does that mean you could just like walk out the door of your apartment? Maybe he lives in your apartment complex.
Oh, you know what that?
Just randomly walk out
Just
every
walk
now
all
and then.
the floors.
That's how I know it would be true love, because I walk around this complex like no bra,
Okay.
my hair is greasy, no makeup. Like
I told you last episode, it'll be someone that sees you and doesn't care how you
they're gonna
look.
really see me. I'm gonna be in like my torn up house pajamas. So we got really off track.
We got very off track. So this episode was supposed to be all about women in the book industry and then like women authors.
We talked about sports.
So we talked about high school,
Zodiac.
astrology. We're just an all-rounded, podcast episode. This
You know
week.
what? We are women who do what we want because we can.
Pretty sure I have ADHD.
Yeah.
According to the internet and all the Instagram reels and whatnot, I have ADHD. So, which kind of makes sense.
I know I have it, but it's too expensive to get tested. So I'm just going to be out here in the open, doing my thing. So you're welcome, everybody.
Anyway, female authors.
Yay, the women.
All right. I mean, I have a whole list here. I'm not necessarily going to say all the ones I have here because there's a lot. But
we could round table it.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
Me. The first one that I would like to say is an author that I used to read when I was really young. And she's like a young adult mystery writer. And her name is Lois Duncan. She's the author of I Know What You Did Last Summer that turned into a movie.
I did not know that was a book first.
Yes.
Who did that
shit.
song? Was it Nick Jonas? Like, I know what you did last summer. Sorry. Continue.
I have no idea, but I'm keeping that in.
Yeah, I have no idea.
This is karaoke with Liana tonight.
It's like I have ADHD or something, but I can't get tested.
Right.
Okay, hold on.
But
it's Shawn Mendes. That's who it was. Anyway, continue.
yes, Lois Duncan. But I haven't read the I Know What You Did Last Summer book. I've read her other ones, though. I think Summer of Fear and Ransom were like my favorite ones from her.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever and I think her book Killing Mr. Griffin is a banned book.
Oh.
Killing Mr. Griffin is a banned book because they don't want kids to think that they can just, I guess, kill their teachers. But it's like an accident that happens.
Fair.
Shouldn't let people be shitty teachers.
I know.
Let's see. My first one will be. I'll keep with the mystery thriller, whatever. Gillian Flynn, the writer of Gone Girl. I think Sharp Objects, and I can't remember the third one I have on my bookshelf. I've only read Gone Girl. But I enjoyed it a lot, and because I enjoyed it so much, my husband had surprised me by buying her other two books that were out at the time. And oh my God, what is that third one called? It's gonna bug crap out of me. I know two of them have been made into some sort of movies. Dark Places, that was the other one.
Dark Places.
So like Gone Girl was made into a movie, and then Sharp Objects I think was a HBO TV show.
Okay.
Gone Girl is one I want to talk about when we do like book to movie adaptations later.
Ooh, maybe I should read I Know What You Did Last Summer for the movie to book adaptations or book to movie adaptations.
You could also do American Psycho.
I have that on
No.
my. Oh no, I think I have Fight Club.
Fight Club's another
For
one.
one of my friends, American Psycho is her comfort movie.
Interesting. I don't think I've actually ever seen it all the way through.
I have. It's not as scary as I thought it would be.
I don't think I've.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. It's really good.
Okay.
Christian Bale shouldn't be so hot. Like, he is insane, but he's so hot.
Cute but psycho.
Yeah. Like a lot of our morally gray men.
Yeah, there we go.
So one of the women I wanted to bring up was Zora Neale Hurston. We actually this made me think about it because we read in high school. We read Their Eyes Were Watching God, which was actually made into a TV movie with Halle Berry. What's his name? Who's in it? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna. Like the pretty black guy with the green eyes.
I feel like I know who you're talking about.
Yes, he is in it too, and he plays one of her love interests. And just the two most beautiful people who are in that movie / book. But anyway, yes, Their Eyes Are Watching God. Very good. I'm trying to think, what else has she done? She's known for writing essays.
Mm-hmm.
But Their Eyes Are Watching God is about a woman who encounters 3 different men at 3 different points of her life. And it's written, like, I believe it's in the early 20th century. So it's not slave time period, but it's still like, Jim Crow and discrimination and racism. And I forgot why we were reading it in high school, but it was very, very good. So that was one of my first introductions to Black women authors. So Zora Neale Hurston, highly recommend.
My next author is an author I pretty much read almost everything by them. I think at one point I went through like a reading slump and I picked up her book, and it kind of brought me back into reading again. And it's another YA author, Marissa Meyer, who does the Lunar Chronicles. She also does the Renegades series, which is like a trilogy. The Lunar Chronicles is like a fairy tale like retelling. Each book kind of brings in a new character, but they kind of all get combined together at the end. The first one is called Cinder, which is like a cyborg Cinderella.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah. You got Scarlet, she's like Red Riding Hood. For some reason, I can't think of what the third book is called, but it's like Rapunzel.
Okay.
Right, with the long hair. But instead of being trapped in a tower, she's trapped in space.
Oh, shit.
It's like really cool. There's like a evil queen who rules on the moon.
Okay.
And then Winter is like the Sleeping Beauty retelling. I don't know. I thought it was really interesting. I like inhaled that series.
I was like, I know you've told me to read it, and I still haven't yet.
Yes, read it. I always do as like an employee. Whenever we get a lot of copies in, I always do it as an employee pick.
Yeah.
I also met Marissa Meyer. I went to her book signing, and she's a huge Sailor Moon fan too. And her favorite is Sailor Jupiter, like me. So I was like, it was really cool. And I heard that the Lunar Chronicles started off as Sailor Moon fan fiction, and then she like changed it up.
Yeah.
So which is interesting.
That's awesome.
It's meant to be.
Yes, I know.
Alrighty. My next one is going to be Suzanne Collins, who wrote The Hunger Games.
I've never heard of The Hunger Games.
No.
Please tell me more.
I already gave you shit for reading Twilight and not The Hunger Games.
I know.
So, But yeah, so she wrote The Hunger Games, that little book series that's not that popular and there aren't movies, made of it. And then The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Yeah. Which what she should have done.
All right, everyone, tuck in. Here we go.
What she should have done was if she wanted to write a prequel, I just don't know why, President Snow. And maybe I need to do some more research as to why, she was, I don't know. Because, I know authors would be like, oh, this character just kept speaking to me, so I had to write their story. And maybe that's the case, and that's great. But, if she would like to write, a story about, Haymitch or something,
Mm-hmm.
a character that's established in the Hunger Games that, people actually kind of like, even a little bit. Because I was not a fan of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
What's her name? Is it Effie?
Oh, yeah. Effie, what?
I
can't remember the last name. Trinket? Something.
It sounds right. Trinket.
No.
Yeah, she would be
Or,
interesting.
if she wants to write another book in the Hunger Games story, I think I would really enjoy if she wants to pick characters that nobody really wants the backstory of and wants to write another book about that. I want a story about Tigress, which is President Snow's cousin. I think it's Tigress. Because in the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, these are total Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes / Hunger Games kind of spoilers. In the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, it's President Snow's story. So you meet his cousin, and, both their parents died in the war. So they live with their grandma. She's trying to be an aspiring person in the fashion industry and stuff. And she works for some designer, and she starts doing modifications to her body and things like that. And then, she's not a big focus in the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but she's in it enough. And then you don't hear anything else about her because it's President Snow's story until the last Hunger Games book, which is Mockingjay. She is, and I can't remember if it's in the movie or not because I didn't watch the last movie yet, but she is the woman that looks kind of like a tiger that hides Katniss and the group of them when they're in the Capitol trying to kill or capture President Snow. And so when you read the Hunger Games, you don't realize why or who she is and why she would help them. Oh. But after you read the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, you're like, oh shit, that's President Snow's cousin that obviously he's kind of just forgotten about and left behind and shit like that. I want her story. I want to know what happened with her from the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes to the last Hunger Games book and why what happened between her and President Snow that made her help the fucking rebels in the Capitol and hide them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my tangent. Liana, your turn.
Thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome.
I've already mentioned so many authors on this podcast already.
I know. That's why I was I have a lot of repeat ones, and I'm okay, I got to start naming some of the ones that I haven't said yet.
Yeah. So I guess another one I want to bring up is Madeline Miller. She did Song of Achilles and Circe.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Elaine, have you read Circe yet?
No, not yet, but I've read Song of Achilles.
Yes. Okay. Oh my god.
I haven't read either one. I was going to pick Circe for our March read.
I know. I was really hoping for Circe.
I read her a couple years ago, and I think that is Circe in particular is one of my favorite books of all time.
So I should have picked it.
So this one's rare because it's written in first person present. but it's written like, it makes me think of a memoir because it's about her and it's her story. So it makes me think it's like a memoir. That's how I approached it.
Okay.
And really, like, I only remember Cersei from the Odyssey and how she was the one that like bewitched all the men and like turned them into pigs and took Odysseus as a lover, and she was painted as like this really like bad lady. But you know, as we get older, we learn better. Like Medusa was not the monster.
Yep.
And things like that. So, and I am a sucker for some good Greek mythology retelling, and
Yes.
reading Cersei and getting to know Madeline Miller as an author was a really cool experience. She's a very good writer, and she's really good at world building, and she's good at exposition, but she shows you. She doesn't tell you. Like,
Okay.
even if you don't know anything about Greek mythology, she kind of writes it as if you already know what she's talking about, and then you catch on. You know, which is
I can
a
agree.
good way to come into it, I think, rather than everything being explained for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because there was a fantasy book that I read, and there was this whole section of, oh, that is the myth of blah blah blah. Wasn't that blah 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 and blah blah blah? I'm like, oh yes, you mean the blah blah blah. And then the blah 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 happened. And I was like, oh my god. Like, and they were like in a library reading this book. He's like, hey, why don't you read that story there that I am pointing to? And then she reads, oh yes, but what is blah blah blah? And I'm like, you guys, this is so boring. But Cersei is just like, here I am living my life, and oh shit, this happened. You know how that can be. It's like, yeah, I do. But yeah, Madeline Miller. And you know how we're on Book Talk all the time? I haven't heard anything bad about her yet, so maybe she's one of the good ones.
Yeah.
But I want her to come out with more things, and I will definitely read them.
Okay.
Yes.
I definitely need to move.
Oh, yes, back to
I
me.
definitely need to move her books up my list on my TBR.
Yes.
Definitely. Also, like, the books made me cry, but you know, in a good way. But like Song of Achilles, like Song of Achilles, how can you not cry? Because we all know that he dies, and just a heart ripper, but so good.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't finish the audio of that on the plane. I ended up having like the last like hour just to go, so I'm kind of glad I finished it not on the plane.
Yeah.
You don't want to cry in a plane full of strangers.
Yeah.
That happened to me. I was on an international flight and I just started bawling because I forgot what movie I was watching. But it caught me unawares, and I was just bawling on an international flight, and everyone else was sleeping, and I was like,
I've done that at work before. Yeah, I've done that at work before where, like, especially if I like reread something, I'm like, if y'all hear me crying, just ignore me.
No, you don't.
Yeah, if you hear me crying, no, you didn't. Or there are some books where I'm like, I know the ending of this is going to be like emotional of some extent or exciting. So I'm like, I got to save it for either the drive home and so I can yell in my car, or when I get home.
Yeah.
So I don't think this author has very many books. I think it's only 2 books that I see. But I read one book for a book club last year, and I really, really loved it. And I think it's a good book to read as well for women's like History Month. I've seen it on lists before too. The author is Carmen Maria Machado.
Okay.
And the book is Her Body and Other Parties, and it's kind of like a collection of essays
Okay.
about like what women go through, like the violence that happens towards them and their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very like psychedelic thriller stories.
Okay.
Like they're very, very interesting. The very first story is like a take on The Girl with the Green Ribbon. Have you heard of that one?
Oh, the one around her neck.
Yeah, the girl with the green
Okay,
ribbon around her neck.
yes.
Yeah, it's a very interesting take on like that story. And so like you're kind of like hooked like right then and there like to that first story,
Okay.
and then like, they just get really good and good. It's very, very interesting. I highly recommend
Okay.
it. And then there's one story in there that's called Mothers, and according to like the people at the book club, it seems to take inspiration from her memoir, which I want to read.
Okay.
And it's called In the Dream House. But yes, Her Body and Other Parties. I highly suggest it.
Okay.
Carmen Maria Machado.
Yay! Viva las mujeres!
Yes. I don't think I have a very good Spanish accent like Liana, but I try.
You are fine. Y'all's are both better than mine, so. Okay. I'm going to throw these two authors together because I like them and I want to read more of their books, but I've only read one book of each of theirs. But Kristen Hanna, I read her book, The Nightingale.
Yes.
Which was like, that was like my second or third audiobook I ever got. Oh my God. That book is so good.
So good.
If you like World War II kind of themed books, I can't recommend that one enough.
That's one of those books that I'll only read once because it was just so, it was like so good, but like I could not handle another reread.
I could reread it if someone wanted me to like read it with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that, ooh. Yeah.
Well, I picked it up because it was about sisters. And I'm like, ooh, sisters.
Yes.
I have a sister. And then, World War II is happening. People are dying. And oh my God. It is devastating, but it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other one is Nora Roberts. Mm-hmm. So the only book of hers that I read, which is kind of funny because if I took a picture of my bookshelf right now, someone gave me like a fuck ton of her books. And I've only read the one, which is The Witness, which I really enjoyed. I read that a couple years ago. Way more than a couple years ago. And it is really good. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. But yeah. So Kristen Hanna, Nora Roberts. Gonna lump those two together.
Yes, on Kristen Hanna. Agreed.
Have you read any Nora Roberts?
No, my mom has some of her books.
I want to.
But
they're not spicy,
No.
They're like sweet, kind of. Well, I think some things can be dramatic in them, but they're like drama romances.
Doesn't she have another pen name?
Oh, maybe.
And I think it's more mystery.
Oh, okay. Okay. I did not know that.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Who else do I read? So I'd also like to bring up, I like to present to the class. Tia Williams. She wrote 7 Days in June, which I've briefly talked about before.
Okay.
So basically, these two people meet when they're kids, and they live in DC, and I'm terrible with character names. I feel so bad. But basically, they only knew each other for a week in high school.
Okay.
And the female main character, she suffers from chronic migraines, and she does not come from a very good home life. And then she meets the guy, and same for him, and he has a lot of
Okay.
behavioral issues. But somehow they become like instant besties, and then they have like this whirlwind 7-day high school romance. But her mom gets him arrested, and he gets sent to prison. Meanwhile, they both become very famous authors. She writes black fantasy books, and
Okay.
he writes, I guess, more contemporary realism, but it's like gritty.
Okay.
And the lead in all his books, her name is Eight. He's actually based it off the woman. And
Oh,
she
okay.
has a romantic lead in her books, and she based it off him. So they've been writing like love letters to each other throughout their lifetimes. Oh, she wrote Black Twilight. That's what she wrote, except
Okay.
better.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's better. And he calls her Eight because when they were kids, they gave each other tattoos.
Oh, God.
They tattooed the infinity symbol on each other, but he calls her Eight because it looks like
Oh,
a side word 8.
8's my favorite number.
So yeah, they meet at this Black literature conference, and then
Okay.
it unleashes a whole week of like romance and deep conversations and really hot sex. And
Okay. Okay.
but then of course, like, the man is emotionally stunted, and she's like, I can't be dealing with this because I'm a grown woman and I got my own problems and I have a kid. But it all works out, and it's good. 7 Days in June. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
And Tia Williams, you know what you're doing.
I don't have specific authors. It's more, this is like something that I've come across and found out that, because I've only read 2 of them, they're comics.
Okay.
But it's like an anthology of comics, and it's all by women. Like all
Ooh,
the
okay.
artists, the comic writers are women, and it's called Smut Peddler.
Ooh.
There's different ones, and it's very sex positive erotic comics
Okay.
by women for everyone. Again, it's anthologies. They have different ones that's like, I just read the 2014 edition. They have other ones from like 2012. There's one that's specifically for monster boyfriends.
Okay.
It's called My Monster Boyfriends, but it's very queer. There are a lot of queer comics in there as well. There's some that are absolutely hilarious. The artwork is so pretty and so good. I highly recommend it.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Ooh, my voice. So my last one will be V.E. Schwab, who wrote The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and who wrote A Darker Shade of Magic, which is going to be the podcast episode book for March. I've heard a lot of good things about A Darker Shade of Magic, and I really enjoyed Addie LaRue.
Yes.
So I'm really hoping that I love this as much as that. But if you haven't read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I recommend it. It's so beautiful. I mentioned it before, so I'm not going to go into it again, but I am looking forward to reading A Darker Shade of Magic. It's been on my TBR for a while now, and I just needed the excuse to pick it or read it. So if anyone wants to read that with us, I do have a Discord page set up. I can send links to people if they want. But yeah.
Okay. So I guess my final artist for this episode is author.
I mean, writing's an art.
No, no. Yeah, they count as a as an artist too. Alison Bechtel.
Yes.
She's a comic book artist and writer, cartoonist, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Have you heard of the Bechtel test? When it's like a thing that she made up.
I feel like I've heard of that recently.
Yeah. So hold on, let me backtrack.
Okay.
She's queer, and she was known for this long running comic strip called Dykes to Watch Out For. And she actually published like a book full of the comics. And then I read her graphic memoir Fun Home, and it actually was adapted into a musical and won a Tony Award.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I mean, it starts her life. You know, she's a kid up to, I think, present day, which was back in 2006, and she calls it Fun Home because she grew up in a funeral home.
Okay.
And you know, she talks about growing up as a kid and suspecting that her father was actually a gay man, and then she grew up struggling with her identity and then coming into her queer identity, and just her everyday interactions with her family and her friends and growing up the way that she did. And yeah, Fun Home, it's really good. Like I forgot why we had to read it for college. Probably because it was a graphic novel, so it counted as art.
Yeah.
But then I also read So Fun Home talks mostly about her relationship to her dad, and then she has a book that is about her mom. And
Okay.
she came up with the Bechtel test for movies and TV shows, mostly movies. And it's so, and you know, people have updated it for contemporary stuff, but it has, like, a movie passes the Bechtel test if it has two or more female main characters and they talk to each other about something other than a man. So, yeah, and then ever since I heard about that Bechtel test, like every now and then I'd be like, this doesn't pass the test. Like Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings? No. Definitely not. And then, like, you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe doesn't really pass it either. Yeah, it's a fun little thing that she came up with, and she actually got like a MacArthur Genius Grant. So, yeah, this person
Okay.
is a big deal. But yeah, Alison Bechtel. That's who I'm ending with.
Okay.
I am looking forward to being halfway done through this semester.
Woo woo. I can tell you, I'm not looking forward to daylight savings.
Oh no, that's
Oh,
not what I need. I
man.
already struggle with sleeping. But yeah, I think that's really what I'm looking forward to, is being halfway done with this semester.
That's exciting.
I don't think I get spring break.
No?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, geez.
I know. But
That sucks.
March is going to be a good month. I'm going to go to a hockey game. Maybe convince some of my friends to go to a wrestling match with me.
Okay.
Gonna travel to the beach for work. So yeah, it's
Okay.
gonna be good.
Nice.
I'll probably start A Darker Shade of Magic. March isn't, I don't know. I'm conflicted about March because March I have my follow-up appointment with my doctor and he's not going to be happy with me. So I'm not looking forward to that. But I do have 2 like fun days planned. So my friend Hannah, we're gonna go to like brunch, and then we're gonna go to one of the indie bookstores here in Austin, and then this museum that I didn't know existed.
Which one?
Here, Elizabeth Ney Museum.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, so it's here in Austin, and it's like it looks like a little castle.
Yeah.
We're doing another crafternoon at her house with people. So
I am on the 7th book of our Quicanian.
okay. Oh, I have a coworker who said she was interested in reading Choosing Theo after listening to our episode. So,
Oh yay! I need to finish Maxu. I'm only halfway done.
Okay.
I paused so I could read other things, and then I need to finish it.
Okay.
But I wasn't sure. I decided to go ahead and start the Darkest Shade of Magic. The month of March, our quarterly bonus is coming.
That's exciting.
I get money. What else is happening in March? Oh, there is supposed to be a special Quicanian series edition hardcovers that are supposed to be coming out.
Okay.
It's just the 5 books up to Using Feiho.
Okay.
But I'm interested to see what those look like and see if I want to spend the money.
Yeah.
I'll probably spend the money. Especially with that quarterly bonus coming in.
Putting that money to good use.
I know. Other than that, I don't really have anything planned in March.
Oh, we forgot to thank the listeners.
Thanks, listener. Singular.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, returning listeners. Welcome, new ones. Hopefully you listen to all of this. Anyway. I guess and I forgot to add in this episode will probably... I don't think I cussed. Did I cuss?
A little bit.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's literally just so ingrained in me that like I don't know when I cuss. So this episode, can't really say it at the end, can I? This episode may contain cussing.
You can say it and then chop it and put it.
I guess I could. Yeah, I'll chop it and then put it in the beginning, and then I'll leave this at the end as a little thing for people.
Fuck yeah.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, no, I probably definitely cussed. I just said shit.
It doesn't count.
Thank you, listener, for joining us. Please rate and review our podcast and follow us on our socials listed in the description. Email or DM us topics, questions, book recommendations. Have a lovely day and week. Until next time. Bye.
Slide in my DMs. Bye.
Oh, God, my lungs.